Hey everybody, welcome. Happy Wednesday. Today we're doing another masterclass session. Today we're going to be showing how users, or not showing, we're going to be finishing actually our ancient city, which we made with the upcoming Classical Empires pack for the Fantasy Regional style. I'll go ahead and just have you take a look at what we've already done. A lot here in the last episode. We made these storm breakers that basically protect from waves sinking the city, as well as they can be used as maybe some kind of magical protection. We added ships, we did some ocean painting, and we did some rocks along our coastlines. So we did a lot in the last episode. And in this particular episode, we're going to be finishing up. So we're going to be clearing up this space right here. We need to do a lot here. For instance, we want to create a gate that goes like here across into that main part there. We're going to want to also maybe move this lighthouse right here so that it lines up with the other side of the gate. We're going to also maybe, once we move this out of the way, we'll go ahead and put like this sacrificial site right here. Maybe the inhabitants of the city made a pact with the gods or demons to protect the city from nefarious forces. And so, maybe one sacrifice every 10 years or whatever it might be. So we're going to have that as well. And then we're going to want to also create a fantastic element, a fantasy element like an airship port. So I'm excited to make that. Hey, first time chatter, Jakub, nice to have you here. Ice King, welcome. We're going to create a military district right here. We're going to create a wall that goes here. We already have our defenses for the water right here, as you can see. What we don't have is some defenses, so we'll probably put a wall right there. And then we're going to put like our airship tower, airship port right here inside the military district. And I want to make sure the military district is right next to the gate. It's going to be right here because they should be able to get to the gate's defenses. They should be able to get into their smaller boats and then make their way out to the armada to where the bigger ships are. So all of those things are going to be in today's episode. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The first thing I'll probably want to do is just get I'm going to get the gate part or the walls just done right away. So right here, there's a wall right here. It has some cool pieces to it. So you can see all the various pieces for it. But what we're looking for specifically is a piece like this. And we're going to want to set it up to where it lines up right here like that. And then I'll place a couple of them, place another one right here. Copy and paste one more and put it right there. Okay, so now we have a wall at least that's going to protect that part of the city. That'll be good. Let's go ahead and make the gate as well. Let's go ahead and move this. I want it to line up with this right here so I can put a gate there. So I'll go ahead and just line that up right there like that. And then I'll go ahead and go into the catalog, Fantasy Regional, go into Classical Empires. I'm going to expand all assets. There we go. And then what I'm looking for in particular is, I think, let me go back up real quick, see if I can find it. Let's actually collapse all assets real quick. Right here, this one. I think this will work just fine. It's a little too big. This is quite massive, so I'll probably bring the scale down a little bit. I want it to be big enough to at least span across there like this. Okay, so then this wall right here should connect right there like that. And then let's move this a little bit more this way to make sure that those connect. And then we'll put that boat over there. So now we have at least some kind of gate that goes into the city there, because we've already got defenses where the port is with these stormbreakers and the armada here. But what happens if they're able to somehow get to the gate? At least there's some fortifications here in which our defenders can go up there and then rain down hell upon the attackers. Now, this isn't something you have to factor in when you're making your city, by the way. You might never encounter a siege, but I always kind of, whenever I'm putting a city together, I kind of look at the defenses of that city and whatnot, and that kind of makes it more believable. You don't have to make the city realistic. You have to make it believable. I said this in the last stream where people kind of get kind of crazy and they kind of focus on just making it as realistic as possible. Don't worry about that. That is a lot of stress. What you should focus on is making it believable, not necessarily realistic. This will make your life a lot easier. So now that I've connected this to here, let's create that sacrificial site as well. So I'll go back into the catalog here, and there should be these nice flat pieces right here. I'm going to make a sacrificial site just like right there. Let's go ahead and bring the brightness down a little bit. It's in the shadows, so I should bring it down a little bit. And then let's create another one on top like this to kind of create this interesting shape. Put it right up on top like that. There we go. That looks good. And then I'll go ahead and place some pillars in the corners here like this. There we go. Okay. So that's basically going to be like your sacrificial site. Let's also look up some stairs. There should be some stairs right here. And let's go ahead and just scale it up to where it matches. And then you have some stairs that kind of lead up to this. Now, the other thing I might want to consider doing is maybe making like some more fortifications, because what we have right here is this island where this piece is right here and this sacrificial site is. But how is it? What are the defenses though? Because what happens if attackers wanted to come up to here? So we'll have to figure a way to do that. So what we'll probably do is maybe create a tower right here. Let's bring that scale down just a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and create some defenses that go across here. See, this should be just a little bit smaller, about there. We're going to copy paste. Let's move it about there, and then I'll copy and paste another one right here. Let's go up a layer. There we go. And then I'll go ahead and take this and then create my next spot right there, and then we'll connect these. What about there? Okay, so now you do have some defenses along this side as well. All right, so now it's a little bit more realistic now that we have our wall set up here. There needs to be defenses on the land part. There could also be some natural defenses, like a series of mountains and trench works that could be off screen as well. Maybe that's where some of the crops are. Who knows, right? So our sacrificial site is done. We finished up our defenses right here. We could add some more defenses by putting like a tower just right here on this corner where the wall is. And that way you'd have one more piece of defense right there available. So I think that looks good. We've got our gate, we've got a lighthouse, we have our sacrificial site. Let's go ahead and make our airship port. Now, we're going to make a composition, and what that means is we're going to take a bunch of pieces and we're going to put them all together. And this is going to be something really important, because with the 2.0 launch, you'll be able to save a composition of stamps as a single stamp that you can use across styles. And you'll also be able to copy and paste things across maps. So it's going to be super important that we have a little section here in this stream on how to put together compositions of structures, because what we have are some really nice compositional pieces here. Like, let me go ahead and scroll down here real quick. We'll expand all assets. And you're going to notice that there are these compositional pieces right here that you can kind of use to make your own structures. These are going to be super important, because I'll be doing a lot of streams in the future on how to make this kind of stuff. So it's important that we kind of go over this. First, whenever you're working on any kind of composition, you always got to build from the ground up. So I usually I start with like the foundation first. So I'll go ahead and put this down on layer 1. I'm going to place that right, square it up to where it's on the squares right there. And then I'm going to start building my way up. So there's that first part. Now it's an airship port. So I would assume that the building needs to be tall enough so that airships aren't crashing into the ground or crashing into the mountain or the buildings next to it. So what we want to do is build a type of tower, and then we'll have the airship bays, the ports, be at the top of that tower. So now that we put that together, let's go ahead and take another piece. We'll go ahead and straighten it, put it right about there. And we're going to place a bunch of these on top of each other. Copy and paste, put it up another layer, put that on top like that. We're going to copy, paste, put that up another layer like this. Let's go and just take a step back and see how big it is. This is easily one of the largest structures right here. And what I want to do is I want to make it kind of central. So maybe I could move it over to right about, let's say right about here. I think that looks okay. That looks good. Okay. And we're going to keep adding more to it. So let's go ahead and add like a port on top. So maybe a flat surface on top like this would be good. And then this way there's like a flat surface where we can attach some, maybe some kind of boardwalk or something for the ships to kind of go onto. Let's also put some stairs down. Let's go ahead and place them on each side like this. And I noticed that these are kind of a grayish color. I don't really like that. So I'm going to change that blend mode to luminosity. and then it should be at least a similar color. I'll bring the brightness up a little bit. There we go. And at least it's similar to that. We have this airship port. Let's make it just a little bit bigger. I want to make it large enough to where people can kind of walk around the tower part and then go onto these docks. Okay, let's go ahead and take a step back. Let's kind of look at our other options here. There's a lot of cool things that we can kind of work with here. Let's go ahead and put some more stuff on top. In fact, I'm kind of noticing that I'm running out of layer rooms. So that's fine. What I'll do is I'm just going to go ahead and create group. We're going to call it an airship tower. Not a problem. We create. Let's go ahead and put this up a layer. There we go. I'm going to open it up. And then this time I'm going to select, go inside the group. I'm going to put everything down to like layer -5. And then I'll just push everything up a layer. So I'll push that one up. This one up. This one. Oopsie. I have to go up a couple more layers. And then this one should go up. There we go. And then I'll go ahead and take one of these. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I want to make it the same size because what I want is room for people to walk around the structure there. So I'll go ahead and place that. And then let's also place some kind of interesting thing on top. Like we could put this dome right here. We could put this dome right here. I think either one kind of works fine. We'll go ahead and put that on top. That dome on top. And you know what looks really nice on a tower is some kind of statue. So let's go ahead and type in statue. This circular one looks kind of nice because it kind of fits with the circular dome part at the top. So I'll go ahead and place the statue on top of that. There we go. That looks good. Okay, cool. All right. And then we need to create some kind of way for the airships to go off to the side. So we want to create a series of like ports. The way that we could do this is we could use some flat. Let me just go ahead and take a look here what our options are. Some interesting ideas. Let's see. This right here might work right here. We can get like a port to come like right there, just like that. And then another one like this maybe. And then this way you have like a series of ports in which the ship can kind of land. I think that will work just fine. And then maybe we want to put some kind of supports like underneath of it. So let's maybe do that as well. I think I saw these right here might work. We could try using one of these. Let's see here. This one right here might work. Let's go ahead and place that down a layer. Oopsie, my mistake. There we go. There we go. And then this will be some kind of support. We'll bring the brightness down because it would be in the shadow. And then I'm going to copy and paste the same thing, and I'm going to flip it. This will also kind of act as like a support. There we go. So we have some supports there. Let's also add in like a fence to separate both sides. So this way, two airships can kind of park. Let's go down a layer here. There we go. My mistake. There we go. And then this way we can have two airships on each side. Let's push that in a little bit more this way. There we go. Looks good. Another one there, and then there. Okay, cool. And then you should be able now to put airships on either side of those so that way that kind of works out there. And then let's also add in some details. I've done most of the bulk of the tower, so now I can just add in some details. Things like adding in some pillars in the corner is always a nice touch. We can also add some pillars to the outside, like this, just to give it a little extra touch to it. Like that, so that always looks good. I'm not going to put too much weight on here because I don't want them to be suspended too much, but we definitely want to add like a door. How are people going to get into it? So we can add, let's say this door right here. And I need to use this as a guide to see how big my doors are. I think this size is pretty big. I want it to be fairly large so people can get inside of it. So it can be a little extra large. I think that's going to be okay. And then maybe we can put another one right here. So that way there's kind of extra exits for people to get out there. And now we have like this airship port that we can kind of put anywhere. Let's see here. This needs to go down a layer. My mistake. There we go. Cool. Okay. So now we have this airship port, which we can kind of put anywhere. I think all of these need to go down a layer as well. Fortunately. There we go. Go down a couple. There we go. So you have like this airship port, which I think we're going to put right about there. Let's put it right about there because there has to be enough room between the cliffs there and the airship port itself. So I think that looks good. Let's go ahead and save it at 116 changes. And then we'll start making that military section. Oh boy, we've done so much in 15 minutes already. Sometimes I don't realize how quickly we're going. So we'll go ahead and add it in the military district stuff, and then we'll probably add some more details to where that that gate is. Okay, that looks good. What layer is this on? Layer 2. Okay, let's go ahead and add in some military stuff. So I do think there are some like barracks and stables and stuff, so we could do that. Like this one right here is called a barracks. Let's go ahead and place a barrack there. Let's place a couple barracks. I think that might not be a bad idea. And in fact, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and move this out of the way. And this way I can kind of see what I'm doing. There we go. We'll put some barracks here. Remember, I'm putting the barracks closest to the gate so that way troops can quickly mobilize and get to the defenses of the gate if they should need to. Now that that's out of the way, I can go ahead and place my tower here. There should also be like some stables right here. So we want to put stables in. That's a little too big. Let's click this one. There we go. It'll save the size. And we'll put in a stable right here. Let's go ahead and put it just right here. Did I add all these images? I added all these stamps in the last 2 episodes. Yes, Wangaroo. By the way, welcome, first-time chatter. So I'll go ahead and place that there. There's some more barracks. Let's go ahead and place another a stable right there, a stable right there. Oopsie. Let's go ahead and place that in the back. My mistake. There we go. Let's also think about some kind of structures within the military district. For instance, we might want to consider adding in some kind of market because the soldiers are going to have children, they're going to have families, they need to go shopping. Maybe they want to have a specific question. All of these are still in EA, by the way. They'll be released with the 2.0. I understand what your question is. These are not custom assets. These are official Inkarnate stamps, but they will not be released until 2.0. Sorry, I misunderstood your question. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue and adding more of all the best necessary infrastructure that's going to be necessary. So we'll add in all this stuff, if necessary infrastructure stuff. Let's also throw in just a couple market stalls in here like this, just right in front of where that market is. That makes sense. And then also we're going to want to put in some houses as well. So let's maybe use these structures right here for the housing. And so I'll just go ahead and kind of place a couple in here like this. There we go, right here like that. Here and right there. There we go. Okay, set in a couple more. Okay, so now we have our military district right here kind of set up. Let's also place some behind the tower as well to give it a sense of depth. I notice this is on 2 and this is on 1. I might have to bring this up a layer. Let's check it out. Up a layer. There we go. Bring this one up a layer. Ah, I see. Everything kind of has to go up a little bit of layer there. Yes, we're going to put in some airships in just a moment. First, I'm just going to fix my error here, my mistake. Now I should be able to place stamps behind the wall. This way, it kind of creates this sense of depth. There we go. Great. Okay, cool. All right, yes, we're going to add airships. And we should be able to go into Fantasy Regional and just type in airship. And there's your airship right there. And then what we'll do is we'll place one. Let's get the right angle right there. Looks good. Let's make sure that the size is right. That's the size of a regular ship. So let's go about this big for a decent size one. And then we'll place that just right in front of that airship right there. It's a little dark. Let's bring up the brightness just a little bit. There we go. We don't have a release date yet for the 2.0 stuff. Sometime this summer is what we're hoping for. We generally never give a release date until we're super, super close because we just want to make sure that we have all the bugs and kinks out before we release it. It's just kind of a nice thing that our boss does for us to not add a deadline. Also, deadlines can create stress and they can also cause a lack of quality when you're rushing to get things done. So we never give an exact date for that reason, which I'm grateful for because I want the release to be the best that it can be. And in that way, there's not a ton of debugging that we have to do. So it's always nice to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and add in a couple more airships. Put another one right here like this on that corner so they're nice and docked there. So now we have our airships. That looks good. Let's also create some kind of, I noticed that there is a staircase right here, but you'll notice, or not a staircase, but this tower, this lighthouse right here has a door, but it doesn't, but the door leads to nowhere. And I am not a fan of doors that lead to nowhere. So let's fix that as well. So we'll go back to classical empires. We'll type in stair. Oopsie. Yeah, I'm super excited for the 2.0 stuff. I can't wait for it to be released. It couldn't come any sooner, in my opinion. That's just me. I'm super excited about that. So hopefully it'll come sooner than later, right? Let's go ahead and push this whole tower up one layer, and then that way I can get the stairs right underneath that. And then what I'll do is I'll create another stair that goes right about there, and then I'll curve and put another stair that goes right about there. Now you'll notice that there is this negative space here. I'm just going to go ahead and fix that. I could use, let's take this stair right here. Let's remove that. And then there should be one that actually has some ground to it like that. That looks good. And then what I'll do here is I'm just going to use a clipping mask to create the floor underneath that. So if I go over here to the shape tool, I'm going to go ahead and use a black outline for a line, and then I'll use a fill. I'm going to use a texture. Let's go with, let's go ahead into Fantasy Regional and look at my options here. And I can always edit it as need be. So let's just use this one for now. I'll probably change it in just a bit. So let's just zoom in real quick. I'm going to bring the scale down on it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pen. I'm going to go like this, press enter, plus, there we go. Okay. Ooh. So the line is way too thick. It needs to go down one layer, by the way. We'll bring that size down a little bit more. Let's also change that texture scale to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. Let's put it right about there, I think. And then I'll move this one to connect to that one. And then we'll do it again right here like this. Press enter, plus, okay. There we go. And then I'm going to want to put something underneath of that as well. And I will, don't worry. We'll probably put some stuff like maybe one of these underneath like this just to kind of fill it out. There we go. That looks okay. Just like about there, looks good. And I'll bring the brightness down just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So now we have some stairs that kind of go up to there and then go down to the sacrificial site, which is what we want, right? That goes up. And then maybe we can create like a series of pillars that kind of create a procession to that as well. So I can kind of create one here, 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 and then right here, I can start kind of creating a series of towers or a series of pillars that kind of lead over to there. And then we could probably put some things down here as well. Like there's a lot of space right here. So we probably want to fill that with some structures as well. So we could put like the people who that might man the lighthouse as well as they're in charge of the sacrificial rite. So what we'll do is we'll place a whole bunch inside of here as well. Let's put a small one so I can fit it in there. There we go. Put one more right there. I might be able to fit it in. I should be able to fit in one smaller one right there. Okay. Ooh, one thing I did notice is that this stair needs to go down a layer. There we go. And then we'll push this down one. Push this one down. There we go. There we go. That looks a little better. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tower right here. I'm just going to hide a little bit of that. So whenever you feel like things just aren't looking right, I generally just kind of hide things. It's a nice little trick that you can do. Sometimes things don't always have to be perfect. You can always hide whatever mistakes that you make. I do it all the time. A lot of people, power users on our server, do the same. Just hide things if it just doesn't seem right, okay? All right, let's take a step back and just see what we've done so far. At 100 changes, where are we at for time? Ooh, we got a lot done in that small period of time, didn't we? So once this is saved, we can go ahead and finish up, add in some final details and stuff. One thing I like to do whenever I feel like I've got a lot done, like sometimes what will happen with me is I'll think, oh, I'm done. Yay, I can post this. I'm finished. And then I kind of realize, nope, you're not done. So whenever you think you're done, just keep going actually, because the more details, the better it gets. So what I'll do is I'll continue adding details. One thing I kind of noticed is right here, I just kind of have this flat space right here that kind of connects. What I want to do is maybe add some pillars that kind of go around that. So let's go ahead and add some pillars here about that size. Looks good. I'm just going to go ahead and use the grid as kind of a guide. And so I'll place them. Oopsie, my mistake. Let's go up a layer. Let's turn off random as well. There we go. And I'm just going to place these, kind of line them up with the grid like this. And that way, at least they're all up there. Place one there. Right about there. There we go. I think that looks a little better with the pillars. There we go. Yeah, that looks much, much better once you kind of add those pillars in there. I think that looks good. We might want to consider adding some more stuff in here as well. Like you have all these delicious details in here. Let me look up, let me go back to Classical Empires. You notice some great juicy details, like these nice little kind of flowing pieces right here. These are really nice. I think we should actually add some more details to our tower. Some nice choices would be some windows or doors. These right here work out just fine. I'll go ahead and place a couple of these on here. That looks good. Let's add another one right there and right there. That looks good. Let's go ahead and add in... Ooh, is there a pillar behind the building? Yeah, I'll look at that in just a second. I probably missed it, but I'll get back to it. Let's go ahead and just add some more details here. Let's go ahead and add one here, here. Let's see here. There should be some banners as well. These will work just fine. Let's use this one right here. Since it's a military district, we'll go ahead and put a banner right there, and then we'll flip it, and then put a banner right there. That looks good. Okay, let's also add in some more windows as well. Okay, let's put some, we put 2 there, so let's actually put 3 on the next one. So we can put 3 there. It's a little off a little bit, so let's move it this way. There we go, looks good. There we go. I'm going to line it up with the banner, line it up with the other window above, line it up with the other window right there. There we go. This is a little off. Let's go right about there. I think that looks good. Oops, that's a little off. Let's move this way. There we go. That's good. Let's go ahead and add in a couple more of those. So I'll copy, paste, place those just right here again, right there. I think that looks good. Okay, that looks good. All right, that looks good. All right. All right, this looks good. This one right here and this one right here. I see them. Good eye, by the way. Oops, this one needs to go down a layer as well. There we go. Cool. Thank you, by the way. Appreciate that. Hey, first time chatter commander. How's it going? Oh, awesome. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad that you're enjoying the streams. Awesome. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for that kind comment. We appreciate you quite a bit. Okay. Awesome. Let's go ahead and save real quick, and then we need to go ahead and add in more of those details. I noticed that there are some open spaces that are floating around in my city, and you know what? Open spaces are perfect for adding things like markets and little details, crates, barrels. All of that stuff is super, super helpful. We're going to do that, and then we'll probably add in the shadow of the mountain using the shape tool. Because you notice there's a mountain here, and what looks really, really cool, something that we don't have here, is we don't have light and shadow yet, and light and shadow is really going to make this city pop out quite a bit more. So we'll be doing that as well. First, let's go ahead and add in those details. Like I've noticed that there's this open square right here. Whenever there's an open square like that, I like to throw in some kind of market. Always helpful. You can also use statues. There's also some other elements in here that you could use. For instance, there are these nice kind of, let's see if I can find them. These right here. I'm not sure what these are called. Grapevines. These grapevines are great. We could go ahead and create like these large pavilions space right here. So you can create these kind of grapevines right here. That's a nice detail. You'll see there's a lot of different stuff. You can see there's some merchant shelves. Those are great. Let's also add in some of that as well. Let's go over to our market. Over here, let's go ahead and add a merchant. Let's add those. Let's add a couple of them in there, one there, and then we can also go ahead and add in, There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's some potted plants. Let's go ahead and add those as well. Let's take it out of the military district and move the potted plants maybe over to here. And what we'll do is we'll decorate along here. So in between, oopsie, put it up the right layers here. Nope, what layer is this on? Layer 2? Okay. So we need to take this and put this on layer 2 here. There we go. And then in between every other, I'll go ahead and place a little potted plant. You see that green is really nice. I see some open spaces right here. So maybe I should put a row of potted plants along here. Always a nice touch to it. I see there's a nice little this little piece right here. This is kind of nice. So maybe we could throw this somewhere. Let's see here. Maybe right in front of the temple would be a good choice. Oopsie, not there actually. Let's put it right there in the water, just like that. I think that looks good. Let's put a couple of them. Let's put another one right here like that. There we go. Let's put another one right there like that. There we go. So we have some nice details there. We're going to throw in more tiny items. These wall climbers, these are great. We can put these maybe along here somewhere, along this edge. You notice that this kind of looks odd. So what we could do is place some of these along here. So we could place them, oopsie, layer 4 or 5. There we go. Okay. And so we're going to place a couple of these wall hangings along here like this. Maybe one right there like that. And then let's put a couple over here as well. So right there, there looks good. Let's put it right up there. That looks a little off down there, so we'll fix that. I think that looks good. Is this one off a little bit? Yeah, let's put a little wall hanging right there. That looks good. In fact, let's remove that one. I think that'd be okay without that. Okay, wall hangings look good. There's some other ones right here with some flowers. Let's maybe put that in the agora here. So we'll go ahead and put some of these nice green flowers just kind of hanging along here like this. Let's put it right about there. One going across like this. And just for some continuity, we'll put them along the side right here. Let's go with one more over here like this. There we go. I think that looks good. So we're going to keep adding more and more details. Statues are a great thing to add. Statues are fantastic. So we could go in here. Let's maybe put like a statue just like right there. Let's maybe put another one right there like that. Let's see here. You know, that won't work there. Let's remove that. Let's go ahead and put the statue right there. Make it a little bit smaller right there in the military district. There we go. Looks good. Let's go ahead and add in another statue. Let's maybe put a statue at the front of the entrance. And let's put a warrior statue. I think that should look good. There we go. Now we have some kind of warrior protecting the main gate there. Let's also add some columns, like a colonnade. A colonnade is like a row of pillars. And we can go ahead and put these. Let's go make sure I have the right layer. Let's go up a layer. There we go. And then I'm just going to place them. Let's see here. What's this one at? Go up a layer. There we go. Put one right there. Let's put a colonnade right here, here, and right there. Oops, got to go down a layer. There we go. We have a nice colonnade there. Copy, paste. Make sure I got the lines right correctly. Copy, paste. Another one right there. So now you have a little colonnade there. I can add in multiple, and you really have yourself a colonnade. You can do that. So many different options. There we go. Quite a bit there. There we go. So you have a bit of columns there. You can do that on all of your ones if you want. A lot of different options here. There should be a ton more details. You've got fountains. We've already got a fountain right there. There's a smaller fountain right here. Let's go maybe place that. Let's go ahead and place this fountain. Let's take a step back and see where I could put this fountain at. Let's put it right here. Right there. Looks good. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, Commander. We appreciate you being here. All right, we're going to keep adding more and more details. There's some benches here. You know what? Maybe some benches along the waterfront here is not a bad idea. Let's put some there. Let's put some right there, one right here, like that. There we go. Just some benches so that you can kind of sit. One right there. There we go. Got some benches. Let's keep going here. A market rug. Yeah, let's go add that stuff. Let's go put... Oh, I already have some rugs down there already. That's fine. Let's put another one right there. Oh, we also have some of these details right there. Great. We've already added a bunch. Great. That's good. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go ahead and add in some more details over here as well. I'm going to go ahead and add these larger rocks in here just to give it a little bit more... you see it's kind of flat out here, so I want to show a little bit of rock out here on the side like this. So I'll make a cluster right here, maybe some right there. Maybe this is old rubble from an old wall that was there, all of that stuff. But yes, all of the VODs are saved as highlights on Twitch, and they're also uploaded to our YouTube channel. And then they're also cut up into clips as well. So you can watch the whole stream in its entirety on Twitch or on YouTube. Or if you want to watch just clips, the clips will be like segments, like the chapter titles of the stream. And then you can watch little clips if you don't want to watch the whole thing. I understand that an hour is a lot of time for a lot of people. Not everyone has time to catch all of that. So we definitely upload this onto our socials, especially YouTube and the VOD on Twitch, because we don't want you to miss out on anything. So definitely expect this to be uploaded on YouTube once we finish the stream. It usually takes a little while for it to get uploaded, so just be patient. It usually takes about an hour or two, so be patient with me, okay? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our time. 3:36, lots of time. Let's go ahead and save. 98. We're going to add just a couple more details. I noticed that sacrificial site, hard to tell that it's a sacrificial site because there's nothing there, no details there to implicate that that's what it is, right? So what I'll do is I can go ahead and grab, since we're already using 2.0 art that hasn't been released yet, let's go over into fantasy battle maps and also maybe watercolor battle maps, and we'll grab some blood. Maybe we can put a corpse out there. Who knows, right? I noticed I already had some blood right here by accident when I was practicing what to do here. So we got some blood right there. Great, perfect. Now I have it there. So let's maybe put one right there. Let's maybe put like a little trail going over to there like that. I think that looks good. There we go. So we have some blood there. I think in the fantasy battle map style, there should be like some bound prisoners, I think, that's going to be in like the prison editions. So we could go over to there real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Prison editions. There it is. And you'll see some lying bound prisoner. This is perfect. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take that person. And they're going to have to be very, very small. You probably wouldn't even be able to see them at this scale. They'd probably be about that small, if not smaller. So you won't be able to see at that scale. But we're definitely going to put some blood in here. I think that's going to be nice because that way we can kind of determine that this is a sacrificial site. If you want to show that there's been a fresh sacrifice, then bring the opacity up of the blood all the way up to like 100%. This way it kind of looks like it's this fresh blood. But if it's a stain, or maybe it was like a year ago or a couple months ago or weeks ago, then you would keep bringing the opacity down, depending. That way it kind of shows that the blood has kind of faded away due to the elements like the wind, rain, things like that. So if you want to show a fresh kill, all the way up 100%. If you want it to show that it's a bit older, faded, then you would just bring the opacity down. Really quite simple, right? Nothing complex. The other thing that I should be doing is creating some kind of path. Notice that there's no path in between my pillars here. Let's maybe add that. So I'll go over to FG layer, bring the opacity down. I'll go ahead and just kind of paint in the road that kind of leads over to here. Just kind of paint in around these edges here. I think that looks good. There we go. And so now we kind of have that leading up to here. There we go. That looks good. Let me take a step back. So far looking good. I might want to consider painting a little bit more kind of road on this side right here, and then maybe creating some road to here. And what I think I might need to do is, I noticed that here again, I'm into that problem where the lighthouse, the access to it is on the wrong side. So one thing I want to do is that I want to have the access be somewhere else. So I'll just go ahead and take a bush right here and just place it right in front of it, so that way the entrance to it would be on the other side somewhere where you can't see it behind it. But I put this one here open for a reason, so this way at least you can see the purpose of why that's there. Okay, all right, that looks good. I think we should keep adding just a couple more details and then we'll call it good. So we'll go back over to our fantasy regional, classical empires. There's still a ton of details in here that we could work with. Like for instance, we have a cart right here. Let's maybe move that cart. I'm not sure what you would need a cart for in here. Let's put one right there. Let's put another one facing the other way, like right there. Let's also throw in maybe these marble lantern torches. Let's maybe add some more details to this Colosseum by maybe adding in some of these pillars right on top like this. So now that you have like this light source kind of coming from here. And then I did forget one more thing. I do want to show some light sources. Let's go ahead and also paint in the inside of this. I was going to have it be water, so that way you could have a battle inside, but I'm thinking what I'll do instead is just fill this in like this. Okay, cool. And I think that those torches right there kind of looks nice. So let's quickly save, and I'm going to show you how to do some shadow work and stuff real quick to make it look like there's a mountain. So I'll do all that stuff. Let this save, and then I'm going to select everything and I'm going to lock it. And then this map will be clonable when 2.0 is released, okay? For right now, it won't be clonable, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and just select everything. And I'm just going to go Alt-L to lock. Now everything is locked, so I won't accidentally select it. I'm going to go over to Shape Tool, like this. I'm going to choose No Stroke. My fill is going to be a color. It's going to be black. I'm going to put it a layer all the way above, like this. And I'm going to use the pen. And what I want to do is create this illusion of the shadow of the mountains. And so what I'll do is I'll just kind of click like this to kind of pretend to make like the ridges along the mountain. What I want to do is I don't want it to look like, I want to add like different various peaks so you can kind of see what it looks like this. We'll go plus like this. Okay, there we go. Oopsie, I kind of noticed that some things are above that. So I'm going to copy, paste. I'm going to unselect everything, select all. I'm going to create group. Now I should be on layer -3. There we go. Now I can copy and paste this and bring the opacity down like that. There we go. And I'm going to place this where I feel necessary to kind of place, like as if I'm in the shadow of the mountain. Now you can use that hard shadow, or you could go ahead and bring the blur up like this. So there's a little bit more blur in your shadow. You could also bring the opacity down to make the shadow thicker or lighter. I generally prefer to go down to about, they're in between about 30 and 25% is generally the best, right about there. So that way there's a very clear distinction. So we have those nice there. Okay. All right. And then let's go ahead and add in some light sources as well. Light, we'll go with Inkarnate. Let the light pop up. And then we'll put the light source in an area where the shadows is not. So let's go ahead and let's go with Fantasy Battle Maps instead. That way I don't accidentally use some wrong ones. So let's go with layer 5 all the way up. I'm going to place it right there like that. I'm going to bring the opacity down. And that way I can get some nice, bring this size way up. And we'll put that light, source just right about there. Let's bring up the opacity a little bit more. There we go. And then what I might want to do is maybe just move it this way, rotate it, and then that way I can get some nice heavy lighting just right there, just like that. There we go. So now you have that hard shadow of the mountain, and then you have the light in outside of that right there. So it kind of goes together fairly well. So I'll go ahead and save that, and then we will either call it good or do the last bit of detail. So where are we at for time? 45? Oh, yeah, we still got time. We'll do a couple more things, and then we will call it good. We should add some filters is what we should do. We'll let this finish saving, and then we'll add our filters. So some filters that I recommend that work really well are the red filter. I find that the red filter, when you have a lot of browns, oranges, reds, those kind of things, I kind of find that the red filter works really well. So if I go over to filter, go to new filter, and then it's in color filters. If you don't see the filter you're looking for, if you just follow that yellow line all the way over to here, you'll see a create custom filter. Click that. And then I'll go ahead and choose red sky. Now, right away, the red sky at 100%, I don't care for the way that it looks. So I'm going to bring it down all the way to 0. And then I'm just going to slowly make my way up to where I kind of get the stuff that's red to kind of pop out a little bit more. So let me show you what it looks like right there. And let me turn it off. And you can see the difference, right? A little bit of a difference. It brings out some of that red. The other thing that I generally do is I want that blue to pop out more. I already have that red, and I'm fearful that that red filter is going to diminish some of that greenish blue water. So I'll go back to the plus sign over here, and if I go over to winter, and then if I bring that all the way down to layer -5, like that, so that way the red filter affects the stamps and even the textures beneath it, but it's going to affect the stamps the most. That's where you're going to see it the most. And then that blue filter is going all the way down beneath all the stamps, and it gives a little bit of blue to the ground. So what I want to do is bring the opacity down so you can kind of see it. And if I bring that up, you'll see the water start to get a little bit more bluer as it kind of pops out a little bit more. Let's add in maybe just a few more filters. We'll add in another one. Let's see here. Let's go with a color adjustment filter. Okay, and with my color adjustment filter, what I like to do with that filter is I'd like to bump up things. For instance, maybe I want to bump up the saturation so that way I really get that color out that I want. Because I noticed that when you add filters, what you do is you start to diminish some of the colors of the stamps. And so to offset that, what I'll do is I'll bring the saturation up so that way the saturation is up. And sometimes I'll bring the contrast up a little bit as well to get things to pop out more. And then whenever I bump up the contrast, I notice that it gets a little bit darker. And so I'll just bring the brightness up just a little bit as well. There we go. And then now I'll go ahead and turn all the filters off so you can see what the filters did and didn't do. So if I turn all the filters off, that's what it looks like, right? If I turn the filters back on, you'll notice that it makes a difference, right? The blue filter made the water pop more. The red made the buildings and the browns pop more. And then sorry, I'm losing my mind here. That color adjustment filter is to kind of to help to stabilize or kind of offset some of the effects that the filters have. So those are all very, very helpful little tricks when you're trying to use filters, because I know that filters can sometimes be confusing, and I think we might want to consider doing a whole stream dedicated to filters. That would be kind of cool. The last things that I would do is add light sources to wherever there's a light stamp or wherever there's light somewhere. So I've talked about this in previous videos before, but you can stack stamps on top of each other. So for instance, I can take a bright orange stamp and then like place it on top like that, and then I can take a brighter one and then put it on top like that. So you can kind of stack stamps on top of each other. It's kind of helpful. What I might want to do is take that shape and just bring it down one layer, so that way that shape is down, and then when I put a light source on top of it, it's not going to be diminished by my shadow, just so you know. So kind of a nice little trick there. So let's go ahead and take those light sources, and I'll just go ahead and place them right on top of each one. Oopsie, let me check for a second. Is this up? I gotta bring that back down a layer. There we go, great. Cool, okay, bring that down. And then I'm just gonna place a little bit of this light stamp next to each one of these light stamps here. There and there, that looks good. Let's add also on the lighthouse, as you would kind of expect. Let's add 2 just for extra measure. One there, one there. And then what's also really nice is to use like these more directional ones. These work kind of well, so I'll go ahead and place them kind of like this. Let's put that in the back. I'll push this back down a layer. About there looks good. We're going to copy and paste. I'll put another one there like that. And then what I'll do is I'll copy and paste those. Copy, paste. There we go. Okay, so now you have some lights coming out of the lighthouse. That looks good. So you have those light sources. All right, I think that is it. Oh, I can't wait for 2.0 release, because I really just want you guys to play with all this beautiful art. The artists really outdid themselves. Everything just looks so, so nice. So that is it for this stream. I believe, I'm trying to remember what the Friday stream is. I think Friday stream is Parchment Part 7, and I think we're going to get close to finishing that map as well. We're going to go ahead and create some simple grasslands. We're going to add details. We're going to do labeling. We're going to do how I deal with lore and how I approach roads. So we're going to be doing a lot in the next stream. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for going with me on this magical journey with this awesome map. I really enjoyed putting this together. Enjoyed everyone's input. Thanks for pointing out the mistakes that I made. I appreciate that. I'll never get better if I don't get your help, okay? So thank you so much. And thank you, Shadow Raven NZ as well. I appreciate that you notice we don't have any AI features with the tool. I like that as well, and I hope it stays that way. All right, please stay safe and healthy. Merry map making, and I will see you all on Friday, okay? Bye, everyone. Take care.